If you could introduce yourself, tell us why you want to run, why you want to win, and how specifically it will affect the Hispanic community. Um, Talk about your credentials, what you have already done, what your vision is, etc.
Great. Thanks for having me. Like you said, I'm Shelly Albright, and I'm running for the State House of Representatives for our District 93. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. And I have a little bit of a cold, so I apologize. I have a cough drop in my mouth. I'm a Florida native. I'm Hispanic. I grew up in a richly Hispanic culture in Tampa. My father's family came from Spain to Mexico through Cuba to Key West and landed in Tampa. My grandmother and her siblings worked in the Cuban cigar factories in Ybor City. And my grandfather was a taxi cab driver in Tampa. And as I'm sure you all know, Hispanics are the largest growing demographic in the nation and in our area. And I feel like we need to be represented for the culture that we have, and not just be a part, but just to be integrated into society and into leadership. So after graduating from high school, I attended the University of Florida, go Gators, and I earned a degree in English literature. I ended up moving to Fort Lauderdale, and I went through the executive training program with Macy's. I married my college sweetheart, and I began a family. And then as my family grew, we decided that it was best for me to stay home with my children. And that's what I did. And we made our way up from down in Fort Lauderdale to Boynton Beach, where we lived for about 7 years. That's where we owned our first home. And then to Wellington, where we are now. And I think I've been here, I counted according to my son Fletcher. He just turned 19, and I was pregnant with him when we moved. So 19 years. Anyway, we love South Florida. I really don't even miss Tampa anymore because I love that ocean breeze. So as a mother, I have been thrilled to raise my family here. But as I was doing that, during that time, I was kind of what you would call a professional volunteer. I served on various boards, including I'm the past president of the Junior League of the Palm Beaches. I was a president of Citrus Cove Elementary School, PTA, Elbridge Gale here in Wellington's PTO, and various organizations. And I happen to have a longstanding history of statewide, local community service and in the county as well. When the position of Children's Ministries Director at St. Peter's opened up, I leapt at the opportunity and I haven't regretted it. It was just another way to put my skills to use in our community with our children and families. And that led to even more opportunities. I ended up becoming the chair of our interfaith committee out here in Wellington, and we hosted the hometown holiday food drive and toy drives, and we did various camps out in the community. I happen to sit on the Village of Wellington's Education Committee as the vice chair, and I also sit on the Neil S. Hirsch Board of Directors for the Boys and Girls Club out here in town. So during that time, I continued my work, just advocating for education and for women's issues all around. I became a board source certified nonprofit board consultant, and I founded my own company, The Sophisticated Octopus, where I put on inspirational retreats for women and girls. And at that, I think right around the time of like the pandemic, just before it hit, I took on the additional responsibilities of youth director at St. Peter's, and I had to take a step back from my company so that I could take on those responsibilities. I currently serve on the board of directors for the Women's Foundation of Florida, which empowers women and girls to positively affect economic, political, and social change across Florida. And I continue my involvement with Empower Her of the Palm Beaches. I'm also a former board member of the Commission on the Status of Women for Palm Beach County. So here's why I'm running. I believe in protecting those who have no voice. I've spent my life doing it, and I believe in protecting the people who live right here in this community. I've lived here for over 25 years. I've raised my children here, and I've served in this community. And I don't think there's anyone better to tell our story in Tallahassee. So as a mother of 4, I know how hard it is to advocate for our children in the school system, to keep them educated, healthy, and safe. I know what it's like to worry about their mental health, how they will be able to afford a house one day, and what the world is going to look like for my grandchildren. As a recently divorced woman, I know what it's like to have no insurance, to have to budget for healthcare, and still not have coverage that's adequate. As a homeowner, I'm dealing with the skyrocketing insurance prices. It's crazy, the things that are happening. And then as the director of the Children and Youth Ministries here at St. Peter, I see the struggles of children and of teens and of their families as they just try to get through daily life and all the effects of the pandemic that has had on them. As a community leader, I hear the stories of families who can't afford rent or pay for childcare. I know that these issues seem insurmountable, especially in this climate where there seems to be no collaboration. But I think that we can overcome these issues. I spent my life as an advocate, as I said earlier, fighting for families, creating collaborative relationships in this community and around Florida, and developing solutions. I believe in sensible gun laws. I believe in increased funding for teachers, not only for salaries, but so that we can recruit more teachers into our schools. I think that's part of our problem. We don't have the integral relationship with our children as they're developing, and they are not learning resiliency and how to handle problems because no one's really listening to them. They don't have the time. They're overworked and overwhelmed and underpaid. I believe that we need childcare assistance for working families. We need more essential housing. I strongly believe in protecting home rule, that we should be making the decisions right here for the people who live right here. And I'm running to bring my years of experience in this community to Tallahassee. I know I can make a difference because I know our people and because I know how to build relationships and get things done.